why is homeschool giving me such a hard time? This year has been rough. Why homeschool really wasn't working for us this year. Hey guys, we're just gonna have a great chat while I give you some tips on why homeschool isn't working and how to help you make that better. Because sometimes we can get in a bad place as moms and get burnt out to the point where every day it feels like they're getting on my nerves, or I'm yelling, or, why don't you just want to finish this one page of math, right? As we, started this homeschool year, I was like, yeah, it's going to be great. Our last 2 years have been great. And we started to do homeschool groups and we were out more. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why can't we get this work done? One thing I can say from this school year, even though it's not over yet, is that we do love our homeschool groups. We have decided to continue doing Mondays and Wednesdays. We are swapping out one of the groups, but it's just that I wasn't prepared. And it was like, I bought all this curriculum saying, okay, this is what we're going to do at home, outside of the fact that we're gone 2 days of the week. So yeah, besides that, tip number one to helping you when your homeschool is just not working is you didn't involve your kids. Like when it comes to curriculum, when it comes to do they want to have the outside classes with friends, do they like to, go to the library? Do they want to go outside every day? Asking them questions about the curriculum so they know what's coming and they know what your expectation is going to be when time comes to do the work. Number two, I would say, and this was a big one this year, is that your workload is way too big. Like, you wrote down all the stuff, you planned out all the stuff, and I'm not saying don't plan big, don't plan hard, but what I'm saying is allow yourself as the year goes on for those plans to be shifted and those plans to be adjusted and maybe even moved into the summer so you don't feel like, oh my goodness, I bought all this stuff and I'm not going to get anything done. And this could also look like buying math, science, history, writing, and not realizing that the expectation from the courses is 5 hours for the week. Like if you're buying a course and it's expecting 5 hours for each thing, you have to do that class every single day. And yes, we want to give our children whole curriculums, but I feel like in our brains, we need to slow down and think that just because a curriculum might seem easier or might seem that it doesn't give your child enough, we have to just believe that that is enough and go with that. So what I would say that your homeschool is not working is that you're trying to do all the subjects all year. This was a learning curve for me because I was like, we're doing this, that, and that every day. Now, if I was doing Charlotte Mason, it was like, 15-minute increments or 20 or 25, maybe that's different. But for me, it was just like, we're going to spend time on this subject until you get to a certain point, and then we're going to move on to the next one. And then next thing you look up and it's 4 p.m. and you're like, this is not going to work. So I learned to during the course of the year, I'm like, you know what? We're going to break this up. We're going to do this subject now, and we're going to do this subject then. That is also the beauty of having a loop schedule for those little fun things that you might want to do with your kids, or you want to do Bible, or you want to do something on poetry. You have those loop schedules where you can loop a couple of subjects every day and you still get through the work. Tip number 4 to why your homeschool might not be working is probably because over the summer you spent too much on curriculum, and then you're like, I'm just going to schedule all this curriculum, and then you're going to drive yourself nuts. Don't overbuy. Really think out your plans for your next homeschool year. I have a video coming on revisiting your homeschool vision so you really can hanker down on that and know what you want for each child in the upcoming school year. 5 of why your homeschool could just be falling apart is you spend too much time on every subject. And I have learned with my very kinesthetic, he has to move, he wants to learn. Like, for me, honestly, he needs the 15 minutes. Like, every subject, 15 minutes, and he needs a break. So sometimes scaling down and really looking at what you're choosing for your child. Is this going to cover what I needed to cover? And how much time is it going to take? Now, as kids get older, yes, their expectations is for them to study a little bit more, get the work done. You're getting high school credits. I understand that. It's a part of life. It's a part of growing up. It's a part of maturing. Your child is smaller. Really take the time to consider to say, how long is this subject going to take us if I'm going to put in all these subjects? Like Charlotte Mason, 15 minutes, in and out, get it done, breaks, outdoors, beautiful. Number 6 is not setting expectations. Now, in the beginning of the school year, I always do a whole, our slow week is usually like what we're going over their books that they might have picked out. Some of them they might not have picked out. Some of the curriculums I pick out, some of them I let them choose. Like when it comes to history or science, I'm like, what science do you want to do, unless it's something that you have to take? And for history, for me, again, next year is more so like we're going to explore history through reading, and we really enjoyed that this year. So that's what next year is kind of looking like. But when you don't set an expectation for your child, it's kind of hard for them to say like, oh, well, when they sit down, what am I supposed to be doing? Why am I doing that? So yeah, as these months move along, I cannot wait to share with you how I'm planning, how I'm going to plan for my high schoolers, and even giving my little 5th grader a planner, because he does like to write in his little book and feel like he has planned out his day. So number 7, and this I could tell you was a big one for us this year. And as you're journeying along with me here on YouTube, and I hope I am able to share my success with you, as I have started a weight loss challenge, and I hope that I get to share that with you. But my number 7 is that no exercise and no outdoors. Your homeschool will just be full of frustration and aggravation. And this is something that I learned this year. We had like a really hard spout of cold weather, which we still do. I am honestly wanting to move to a warmer climate where it's warmer more of the year, because it gets cold here, and it feels like even when it gets warm, we have like 2 weeks and it feels like it goes back to cold. The weather is just horrible, and that really kept me in the house, which for me, I take responsibility for that. But all in all, like, we weren't getting outdoors, and that for me, I know it was affecting our homeschool. So get outdoors, do what you got to do to go outside. Number 8, and this is a quick one. Sometimes, depending on how your child learns, or if your child has a disability, sometimes your homeschool could start falling apart because of that, or start stressing you and worrying you because you don't know how to teach your child. In that instance, I would say reach out to somebody or get your child tested, or really start to use different styles of curriculum and then see which one works best for them. And then that will kind of get you on a better path and, relieve your stress of worrying like, why my child isn't learning, or what do I have to do to get through a whole day with you without feeling like climbing up a tree and sitting there by yourself for the rest of the night. Number 9, and this video is almost coming to an end, guys. I would say why homeschool feels like it's falling apart is lack of preparation. I feel like moms think that they could open up a textbook. You cannot open up your textbook. You have to read through the front. You have to prepare in the summer. You have to prepare monthly or weekly, or however your schedule happens. If you homeschool year round, you got to do some work here, there, everywhere. So yeah, prepare your stuff. Don't go into it not prepared. And for me right now, as the videos come out and I'm sharing with you, like I am planning um, a lot of the stuff for my kids next year, as I know I will be going back to some part-time work. So I'm trying to really plan out things. So when I sit down every 6 weeks or so to really plan the next couple of weeks, then basically the layout will already be there. So preparing in advance is very important because life happens. You don't know what's going to happen. Y'all can get sick, and then it's like, oh, you're trying to pick up, but you didn't get time to prepare or do this or do that. So, and taking the time to incorporate the breaks so you can prepare is also very important because you need to catch up. I know for me, I'm going to be very strict about taking those breaks because I really didn't this year, because I know going into having a high schooler, I need to take the time to sit down and say, we're stopped. I need to make sure you're going in the right direction as a high schooler and that, everything's going the way it should. And guys, number 10, of course, this is the biggest one of them all. I feel like every homeschool mom probably has a video on this. It's mom burnout. Now, I feel like as moms, we know when we're going to be burnt out. We know when we're going to be burnt out. You feel it coming and you're like, oh my gosh, I just need to stop. But yet you don't stop. Why do we do that to ourselves? I have no idea. So moms, learn how to pause and say, I'm going to take a break. I am going to enjoy myself. I'm going to get away. And I just recently read a book called A Modern Miss Mason. It was so good, especially when it comes to like mothering, doing for yourself what you're doing for your kids, and not being ashamed in that. Like, you need to take time weekly. You need to take time every other month, something bigger. Go play basketball. Go do a pottery class. Like, do something for yourself to get away so you can just sit and think. I really used to be in a place where I would think, oh no, I can't spend the money on myself. Oh no, yeah, I don't need that. But I can tell you, I dug myself into a deep depression thinking that I could survive and not do anything for myself. And I am more so going into next year, when I plan their schedule, I am planning my schedule as well. I think that's something that we really need to be intentional with as homeschool moms, even planning your date night and stuff like that. I can't wait to share my plans and how I'm going to plan and what I'm using to plan for my upcoming school year, because I'm going to be about that life where I'm going to sit down. I'm going to make it a habit to sit down and really look at my month ahead, what it looks like, making sure me and my husband have time, making sure I have time, even to make sure that he has time, because sometimes he can work so hard that he never stops to take time for himself. So that's something, even for me, like when I plan appointments, it's like, no, I need to plan him an appointment too, because sometimes he's working so hard, he can't even stop to think about those things. So like, yeah, and you will see when I show it to you that I do plan 95% of the stuff in this house. I take up, care of a lot of stuff in the house. So for me, I know the burnout because I have been in it multiple times. And for me, walking into next year, I'm not going to let it, no. So guys, I'm happy that you listened to me for this long ramble, long video, blah. But yeah, thank you for coming along. Thank you for journeying with me. If it's your first time around here, hit that subscribe if you have stayed this long, because you are great. Guys, as always, give yourself grace. And this mama will see you in her next video. Bye. Like things like that. Asking them questions. And I will just have to be like, I will just have to either go to the library and get the stuff.